Imagine the scene at the training ground right now. It is quiet, perhaps too quiet. The cameras are flashing elsewhere, the headlines are screaming about millions of pounds being thrown around across the championship, but at the racecourse there's a different kind of tension in the air. We are looking at a closed door. Behind that door, the phone is off the hook. There is a list of names on a whiteboard. Some names are circled in red ink. Others are being slowly wiped away. Monday is coming. The deadline is looming like a storm cloud on the horizon. But here is the mystery that is keeping everyone on their toes. The man in charge, our gaffer, isn't running around in a panic. He isn't shouting for the checkbook. He is looking at the men already standing in the room with him. There's something very strange, something incredibly intriguing happening with Wrexham's transfer strategy as we approach the final hours. While the rest of the league is scrambling for fresh faces, Phil Parkinson has dropped a truth bomb that changes the entire perspective of this window. It's a game of poker, and I think the gaffer is holding cards we haven't even seen yet.
Hello everyone, Rodrigo here. Let's get straight into the heart of this matter, because the context here is absolutely vital to understanding what is going to happen or not happen on Monday. We have to talk about the atmosphere right now. You cannot separate transfer news from the feeling on the pitch, and the feeling right now is electric. We have just come off the back of a massive result, a 3-2 victory away at Queen's Park Rangers. And it wasn't just a win, it was a statement. We came from behind. That is the DNA of the Red Dragons right there, that resilience, that refusal to lie down. This result has moved us into the playoff places in the Championship. Just let that sink in for a second. We are competing at the sharp end of the second tier of English football. This victory changes the complexion of the transfer window entirely. If we had lost that game, if we were sitting near the relegation zone, the tone of this conversation would be desperate. We would be begging for reinforcements. We would be screaming for the owners to spend whatever it takes. But we aren't. We are winning. The squad is performing. Phil Parkinson knows this. He saw the character in that dressing room at Loftus Road. When you see your team fight back and score 3 goals away from home, it gives you a level of trust in the players you already have. It makes you pause before you bring in a mercenary who might disrupt that chemistry. The gaffer is looking at that league table, looking at the spirit in the camp, and he is thinking that perhaps the answer isn't in the transfer market, but right here in North Wales. That win against QPR has bought us the luxury of patience. It has bought us the luxury of being selective. We don't need to panic buy. We don't need to grab the first player who becomes available. We can wait for the right quality, and that is a position of power.
However, let's not pretend there isn't smoke, because where there is smoke, there is usually a fire trying to start. The name on everyone's lips, the name that has been circulating in the back pages and the forums is Siddiqui Sherif, the young French striker from Angers. Now this is where it gets incredibly interesting. We are not the only ones looking at him. Crystal Palace, a Premier League club, is also reportedly chasing him. That alone tells you about the calibre of player we are attracting now. We are fishing in the same pond as the elite. Sherif is a talent, no doubt about it. He brings that raw pace, that unpredictability that can unlock defences in the Championship. The link is strong, the rumours are persistent, and Parkinson, in his latest press conference, did not explicitly rule out new signings. He didn't say no, he didn't say the door is shut, he left it slightly ajar. But here is the nuance, and this is where we have to be analytical. Just because we are linked with a player, and just because the fans are excited about a potential new striker, doesn't mean it's the right move structurally. Parkinson is a pragmatic man. He looks at the balance of the squad. Bringing in a young player from a different league, with a different language, into a high-pressure Championship promotion push is a risk. It's a calculated risk, but a risk nonetheless. The pursuit of Sherif represents ambition. It shows that the Hollywood owners are ready to back the club if the target is right. But the gaffer's comments suggest that he isn't going to sign him just to make headlines. If Siddiqui Sharif comes to the racecourse, it'll be because Parkinson believes he offers something we fundamentally lack. But if he doesn't come, it's not a failure, it's a choice to trust the current firepower. The intrigue here is palpable. Will we gazump a Premier League team, or will we stick with what we know? The next few days will answer that, but the mere fact we are in this conversation is a testament to how far this club has come.
Now this is the part of the update that really caught my attention. It's the part that most people gloss over, but for a football obsessive, this is the gold dust. Phil Parkinson made a very specific point about players already at the racecourse. He isn't just talking about the starting 11 from Saturday, he is talking about the cavalry that is returning from the medical room. We have had injuries, it's part of the game, but look at the names coming back. Ollie Rathbone, Libby Fecacce, Issa Kabore. These aren't squad fillers, these are quality operators. Rathbone in particular offers that tenacity and drive in the midfield that we thrive on. Fecacce and Kabore bring options and depth that we have been missing in the early part of the campaign. The Gaffer's perspective is fascinating here. He sees these returning players effectively as new signings. They haven't played much this season due to niggles and knocks. They are fresh, they are hungry to prove themselves. They have been watching from the stands, desperate to get involved in this success story. When Parkinson says, "I am firmly focused on the players we have," he is sending a message to these lads. He is telling them, "I believe in you. You are my reinforcements." Think about the psychology of that. If you are Ollie Rathbone and you see the manager trying to sign 3 new midfielders, your head drops, you feel unwanted. But when you hear the manager say, "There is more to come from the players we have," you feel 10 feet tall. You run through brick walls for that manager. This is Parkinson's genius. He is managing the human beings, not just the footballers. He believes there is untapped potential in this squad. He believes that the best is yet to come from the group that is already in the building. It's a bold strategy, relying on internal improvement rather than external solutions, but it is one that builds a dynasty, not just a team for a season. We need to get technical for a moment because this is the hurdle that nobody can jump over without consequences. The rules. The cold, hard, bureaucratic rules of the Championship. We are limited to a 25-man squad. That is the hard cap. You cannot just keep hoarding players. You cannot have a roster of 40 seniors. Parkinson was incredibly honest about this. He admitted, quite bluntly, the squad is strong and numbers-wise we are obviously above the 25 as they stand. Read that again. We are above the limit. This isn't just about money. We could have all the money in the world, but we literally cannot register another player unless we unregister someone else. This creates a massive logistical puzzle for Monday. To bring a player in, whether it's Sharif or anyone else, we must move a player out. It's a one-in, one-out policy by necessity, not by choice. This explains why things might seem quiet on the surface. It's not just about agreeing a fee with a selling club. It's about finding a destination for a player currently in our dressing room. This is the harsh reality of football management. You have to look a player in the eye and say, "You're not in my 25. It's brutal, and Parkinson is navigating this minefield right now. He knows that to improve the squad, he has to trim it first. This adds a layer of complexity to the deadline day. We can't just snap our fingers. We need the dominoes to fall in the right order. If we can't move players on, we can't bring players in. It is that simple. This is why the Gaffer is emphasising the quality of the current group, because there is a very real possibility that the squad we have now is the squad we keep, simply due to the mathematics of the registration rules.
Let's analyse the Gaffer's philosophy here, because his words were chosen with extreme precision. He said, if the right player was available at the right price, then obviously we would make a move, but it is not an absolute necessity. Not an absolute necessity. That phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting. It tells the fans to calm down.
It tells the agents not to try and rip us off. It tells the rest of the league that Wrexham is not desperate. In previous windows, perhaps we were desperate. We needed to get out of the National League. We needed to stabilise in League One. But now we are sitting comfortably. We are competitive. This shifts the negotiating power back to us. We will only move if it makes perfect sense. We are not going to overpay for a player just to say we did something on deadline day. The Hollywood ownership has been fantastic, generous and supportive, but they are not foolish. They run a tight ship. Parkinson is aligned with that vision. He talks about the right price. This is crucial. We have seen clubs in this division spend recklessly and end up in financial ruin, or with a disjointed squad of mercenaries. Wrexham is building something organic. We want players who want to be here at a valuation that makes sense for the club's long-term health. Parkinson is saying that he is happy with his tools. He is happy with his warriors. If a superstar becomes available for a bargain, sure, he'll take it. But he isn't losing sleep over it. He isn't pacing the floor at night worrying that the squad isn't good enough. That confidence is infectious. It spreads to the fans. We don't need to refresh the transfer page every 5 seconds. We can trust that if nothing happens, it's because the boss believes we are already strong enough.
Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, the bittersweet side of this window. We talked about players needing to leave to make space, and one name has come to the forefront: Elliot Lee. This is a player who's been instrumental, a player with magic in his boots. But football doesn't care about sentimentality when it comes to the league table. Elliot Lee has not featured in the Championship this season, not a single minute. That is a hard pill to swallow for a player of his quality. He wants to play. Every footballer wants to be on the pitch, feeling the grass, hearing the roar. Parkinson confirmed it. He said Elliot has trained fully and is ready. He is looking for a loan move. He wants regular game time. And honestly, he deserves it. It is painful to see a fan favourite potentially heading for the exit door, even if it is just temporary. But it makes sense. You cannot keep a player of Elliot Lee's calibre sitting in the stands every week. It's bad for morale, it's bad for his career, and it's a waste of talent. Parkinson is confident that the playmaker will secure a move before the deadline. This is likely one of the outs that will balance the books and the squad numbers. It's a reminder of the relentless progression of this club. As we climb higher, the standards get higher. And unfortunately, some heroes of the past journey might not be the starters for the next chapter. It's emotional, it's tough, but it's the reality of a club that is evolving at this lightning pace. We wish him well if he goes, because he's part of the family, but the machine must keep moving forward.
So, where does this leave us as we stare down the barrel of Monday's deadline? The situation is fluid, yes. The phone lines are open. The possibility of a late twist, a sudden arrival like Siddiqui Sharif is still there, shimmering in the distance. But the overwhelming message from Phil Parkinson is one of calm, calculated confidence. He is telling us to look at the league table, look at the win against QPR, look at Rathbone, Kakache and Cabot coming back to full fitness. He is telling us that the new signings might just be the men who've been wearing the badge all along. The squad is over the limit. Decisions have to be made. Players like Elliot Lee will likely move on to find their football elsewhere. It's a reshaping, a refining, not a revolution. We don't need a revolution. We have the momentum. As fans, it is easy to get caught up in the hype of deadline day. We want the shiny new toy. We want the breaking news graphic. But sometimes the best transfer business is the business you don't do. Sometimes keeping the group tight, focused and united is worth more than any multi-million-pound striker. Monday will come and go. Maybe we sign someone, maybe we don't. But one thing is certain, the Gaffer knows exactly what he is doing. He has earned our trust. The racecourse is ready, the players are ready, and frankly, after that win on Saturday, I think we are all ready for whatever comes next. Keep the faith, stay calm, and let's see what the deadline brings. Up the town!